Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a little bit about my last week in games. As always, we'll start with EVE Online, and it's been pretty interesting week in EVE Online, of course, with the expansion, lots of new stuff to explore. And as I've said, I was planning to get into like refineries and stuff like that. While I got the blueprints, I don't have a refinery up yet, while I think I could get pretty close, but which is something that happens every few expansions apparently. We have been war decked, and as a result we have to be a little bit more careful, which just delays most of our plans at this point. So I don't think it's a big deal. I sold my first blueprint copy for an M refinery for 320 million ISK, so I think that that's definitely worth the wait from my personal perspective. And with this war, well, we get the opportunity to try some other stuff. So right now I do want to get into the Crimson Harvest, because the final reward is like a lot of those headhunter skins and they are pretty damn cool, so I definitely want to grab my 400 points. As a result, we did a tactical retreat to Solitude, and that's where my brother and myself are now working a little bit on getting the points through like the Blood Raider sites and through mining, for instance. So this is something that's also different with the Crimson Harvest this year. You have 5 tiers of every type of mission that you can do for the event, and that basically allows you to keep going and to earn the points even if you want to stick to just a single activity. You could earn all 400 points just mining stuff, even only mining stuff in HiSec, which I think is really great. It basically gives you the option for extra work, because it gets harder and harder, but for extra work you can stick with your favorite playstyle as well as an option to do the Crimson Harvest. And this is, I feel, really bringing this in line with how you do these daily challenges, just like Heroes of the Storm does. This gives us all the options that we may want or need when it comes to earning those points. Really good job there by CCP. The next phase I'm going to keep up with the blueprint copies, but I must also quickly say that because of the war, of course, I'll be a little bit more careful, and everything has been put into safety. There's hardly anything of value in these structures from myself at this point, only some PvP ships just in case of an attack, and I personally don't expect to see it. So there's 2 corporations that Wardeck does. I think both of them have pretty much the same wars going on, so maybe I think the Lost Corporation is to catch some stragglers at the end or something like that. But considering that they have like 70 active wars, I think they're basically doing this to get more targets after the expansion around the trade hubs, hoping to maybe catch someone with blueprints and things like that. I don't think that they're going to expose themselves for hours to grind down structures in a faraway system. So that is also the reason why at the moment the war is not public. I'm keeping that one private, just to give them as few targets as possible, give them as a low an incentive as possible to keep going with the war, so that I can get to work on the future projects in EVE Online. Next up, we have some Heroes of the Storm. That's been going pretty normally. I've just been doing some daily quests, earning some gold, still have 30,000 in reserve, and I'm actually wondering now, because I'm getting some more annoying quests here and there with Heroes of the Storm. For instance, I used to always get like win 8 games, 90% of the time that's an active quest, then win 3 games and then do something like play 2 games with a StarCraft hero, play with a specialist and things like that. Right now what I'm often getting is like play 3 games with a hero, warrior hero, and play 3 games with a specialist, which force you a little bit, if you want all that gold, to spend more time or to choose your games a little bit more wisely, to spend some more time in the game as well. And I think perhaps there is part of the algorithm that gives you the quest that also looks at your gold reserve. If that's really low, then they want to give you those really juicy quests so that you can keep going and very easily make progress, so that you can earn your gold and feel like you're making progress. But once you've got a big reserve, perhaps they're giving you stuff that's a little trickier to manage, so that you're slowed down a little bit and maybe incentivized to spend all of that gold. So but other than that, you know, Heroes of the Storm is I think actually a really great game, for me the most accessible fastable MOBA by far. Some games can last 15 minutes, other last, the longest one maybe like 45 minutes or something like that I've seen, but that's really a very extreme case. No need to learn all items and tons of other special things there. It's pretty much get into it, play that game, and enjoy the ride there. Instant action, instant gratification as well. And well, for people like myself that don't have as much time as they would like to play all the games, I think that this is perfect. And with just a quick plays, the daily quests, I am definitely still having fun with Heroes of the Storm. It's staying on my roster. Next up, we have a Battle Void Sector Siege. So this was a key that was given to me by the developer. On their Twitter, I read that it's actually like 3 guys from Finland, I think, if the website is any indication, that develop these games. And I personally, I do like this. I think it's very casual friendly. It's pretty easy to get into. And the first Battle Void game, which had another name when I first got it, I thought that one was really good. And I actually enjoyed playing through that several times. Now, for this one, there is pros and contrast to what they did. So first of all, they did add a lot of stuff on top of the core Battle Void gameplay, where you control a ship, upgrade it with different weapons, and then just try to become more powerful and crush your enemies. They added research, they added crews, they added capture points, they added defensive stations that you can put up. So from one perspective, there's a lot more to do, a lot more to master, and it gives you more options to how you want to tackle every game. But this does come at a price, in my opinion, is that you can't really save progress anymore at this point. Sure, you can unlock better ships, you can unlock better stations and certain research trees, but every time you start a new map, you have to start all over again. And well, from that perspective, I must be honest here, the game does end up becoming quite repetitive, and it feels like it's drawn out a little bit. So I think that they overdid a little bit with the new options resetting completely every single time that you're either doing a defense or attacking a new sector on the world map in the campaign. That is something that I'm experienced at this point. From any other standpoint, honestly, I like the gameplay. I think it's really intuitive, really well done. For a 3-man team, I like the graphics. Everything is working as intended, and I think it is really fun to build up a fleet the way you want to, right? Whether it's with lasers, with missiles, or with other weapons. Now that I've unlocked a tree, that's pretty damn cool. But the way I played, and I think what's gonna be the most efficient way to do it, is to just save 800 unlock points at first, get the very best ship with like 8 hard points, and I think like 10 or 12 lower slots, you could call them, like smaller self-defense weapons there, and then just you know, have those behemoths pump those guys out and then just keep going. So from that perspective, at this point, I basically have a method that I think is very close to optimal on how to do either the defensive or the offensive maps. And as a result, yeah, it does become repetitive because I have to do the same research every single time. I have to buy the same ships, buy the same weapons, resave that chip template again every single time to buy it a little bit more quickly later on in the game. And from that perspective, while it's still fun to play, it's a little bit too repetitive at this point. That would be my one complaint on Battle Void Sector Siege so far. And the final game that I want to talk about in this Sunday recap is the Elder Scrolls Online, and I didn't play it last week, so you may see that I've continued uploading the series on Morrowind, which is the expansion that I bought, and I actually enjoyed it. I got quite a few hours out of it, and I did enjoy playing Elder Scrolls Online and Morrowind. But there's a new DLC that's out as well, the Clockwork City or something like that. I haven't bought it yet because it wasn't on my radar. I actually didn't know that this was on coming out, and it's only now that the gentleman gamer mentioned it in a comment that I realized that this was coming out. But I'm not actively playing the Elder Scrolls Online at this point, but I do want to finish that series, and so that's why I'm giving it an upload slot at this point. I'm just going to actually do that upload beforehand, so I think it's gonna be like another 8 weeks or so of videos that I've got ready when it comes to the Elder Scrolls Online. But that also means that I might turn in some extra content on Friday as well when those videos come out, if I find the time and the opportunity. Stuff like a first look at a new game where I got a key, which is something that I'm regularly getting at this point, but I just rarely have the time to do all those keys that I get. So maybe what I'm trying here basically is I'm not actively playing the Elder Scrolls Online. Sorry about that for the fans that are watching that series and are enjoying the Elder Scrolls Online themselves. I'm not actively playing it at the moment, but I am going to bring out that series so that hopefully I can create basically an extra optional slot on Friday. I then usually do an upload that's like 12 hours apart from the other two. In between, and as a result, hopefully I can bring you guys some different stuff as well, maybe something that I can experiment with, like the first looks, like perhaps some other stuff. So that is basically the plan and the reason why you're seeing the Elder Scrolls Online pop up in your feed as well from time to time. That's the plan, and hopefully it'll work out. Anyways, that was it for this week, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Get more healing done. Cliff Racers, come and help me! Holy hell! She actually got me? I was just about to heal and kill her, so that's quite disappointing. Let's go back to the way shrine.